Am I the chick for recording my boss humiliating me in a meeting and sending it to HR without telling anyone? I debated posting this for weeks. I'm a quiet person. I do my work, keep my head down, I don't cause problems. For 2 years, I watched my boss, Matt, single people out in team meetings, cutting remarks, public corrections for things that they could have done in a private email. The kind of management style that makes you rehearse excuses to call in sick. Then it happened to me. Last month, in a full team meeting of about 15 people, he spent 8 minutes, I counted, picking apart a report I submitted. Not the work. Me. My attention to detail, my commitment, whether I was really cut out for this kind of role in front of everyone. I didn't say anything. I just sat there. What he didn't know was that I started quietly recording 6 minutes earlier on my phone. Nothing dramatic, just protecting myself after watching what he did to others. I went home that night, clipped the audio, and sent it to HR with a formal, written complaint. No warning, no confrontation, no let's talk about this. HR opened an investigation the next morning. Matt has been on administrative leave for 2 weeks. The office knows something happened, but not exactly what. 3 coworkers who've been there longer than me separately said they wish they'd done the same thing years ago. Matt's manager called me personally to apologize. My wife says I should have confronted him directly first. Maybe she's right. Am I the jerk? I personally don't think you're the jerk. I've unfortunately had to talk to HR in work settings where it just made me uncomfortable. I mean, that's what HR is there for, to protect you. If it's something that's really making you uncomfortable, I think HR is the answer. Even you talking to him, it's just a he said, she said, maybe. Someone said, people love just talk to him advice until it backfires and you get labeled difficult. LOL, HR exists for a reason. Yeah, I agree. Especially if it's like extremely inappropriate. Like, obviously, this is extremely inappropriate behavior. If it's something small, like, I remember I talked to a woman before where she like talked to me in a tone, I guess, and I was like, oh, do you mind just like not saying it like that? Like, stuff like that can be handled, but when it's continuous and it's making you uncomfortable and he's literally calling you out like that, like, I understand, like, maybe saying something in a tone could have been just a bad day, but literally, I don't know. That's definitely inappropriate, especially as a manager. What the heck? Someone said confronting bullies rarely fixes anything. Documentation does, and you played it smart. And someone else said your wife should be backing you up, not the jerk. I agree. He paid for dinner, then ghosted me because I disagreed with his Harry Potter take. Am I overreacting for refusing to double text him as we'd agreed to meet this weekend, but he did a 180? Okay. I had 30-year-old female matched with this guy, 30-year-old male, on Hinge last year, but we never met. We ended up taking a break from dating, deleting my account, and recently made a new one. He immediately reached out again after he saw my new profile. We actually ended up meeting 2 weeks ago. And to be fair, he was really nice and paid for dinner. But the entire time, the conversation felt really one sided. He talked a lot about himself, his daily 4 a.m. workouts, protein shakes, his 6'3" height, weight, and went on and on about Harry Potter, Marvel, and superhero movies. Like, very passionate, but also kind of intense. He mentioned traveling to Japan and Korea, and when I brought up that I have family in Shanghai and go back to China every year, he didn't ask me a single question about it. Just kept talking about his own trips and even showed me pictures of noodle dishes he ordered, which I've eaten a million times. I've also been to Japan myself. Looking back, he learned basically nothing about me besides my Harry Potter opinions. He didn't seem interested in talking about anything outside of superheroes and Harry Potter. It's weird because he works in finance, so it's not like he's a dud or can't hold a normal conversation. After the date, he texted and again recommended I listen to the new Harry Potter full cast version on Audible. He's been obsessed. And I told him I've always loved the Jim Dale audiobooks, but I honestly ended up hating the full cast version because of all the background noise. After I said that, he left me on red. It's been a week. So now I'm like, did I really just get soft ghosted for disagreeing with him? Or is this just who he is? Only interested if you're aligned with him and his interests. Wow. I feel like this is a blessing. Like, what the heck? Him leaving you on red is a blessing. Someone says, doesn't sound like either of you really like each other. Why bother? Someone said, excuse me, lol, finance bros are the absolute worst personalities on dating apps. Being in finance is a red flag for me, basically due to plenty of experiences dating guys like the ones you described. And someone replied and said, as a finance woman, or as a woman in finance, I would never date someone in finance. I didn't know. My partner is in finance. He's normal. Someone else said, none of a reaction, but he did you a favor. He didn't bother to learn a single thing about you, and now he just ghosted you because you had a different opinion than him. Yikes. Am I overreacting for getting the ick after she set a harsh boundary? I'm a 32-year-old male, have been seeing someone 28-year-old female for 3 dates. Let's call her Harper. We've been having a good time, and honestly, I hadn't been this excited about someone in a while. I was already starting to plan our fourth date. Before we get into it, I just wanted to let you know that we're from a relatively small city, so everyone knows everyone. Harper is a friend of my other friend, Evelyn, 29-year-old female. I had mentioned that I know Evelyn. It had come up on a date, but the truth is, we are very close. I didn't hide it or anything, we just didn't get into it that much. Last night, I learned from Evelyn that her and Harper had a falling out. They were at the same house party. Harper shows up and hung around her ex's new girlfriend, Jillian. She didn't know who she was, but the girlfriend knew exactly who Harper was. Upon finding out, Harper said it was really awkward because she was talking about said ex in front of Jillian. Harper said it was seriously messed up that Evelyn didn't tell her she was hanging out with her ex's new girlfriend. I understand Harper's position, of course. That would be awkward. But then Evelyn tells me that Harper said her and Evelyn would become only strict acquaintances, and that this is a massive failure of judgment, consideration, and common sense. What Evelyn did wasn't ideal, sure, but like worthy of ending a friendship over? It's not like her and Harper were even super close. Now at this point, I no longer want to see Harper. Something about the hostility and harshness of this rubs me the wrong way. I know Evelyn genuinely meant nothing by it. Boundaries are important and all, and that's her right. But this felt like too much, too aggressive. I've only talked to a couple of friends about this, and they get it. But some are saying it doesn't really concern me, so I should let it go. Should I? Am I the a-hole? So, someone said Evelyn seems like a pot stirrer. Evelyn knew Harper was hanging out with ex's new girlfriend and didn't warn her friend. Someone said letting a friend get chummy with their ex's new girlfriend without giving any kind of heads up is not a friend behavior. I'd be upset too. I would not be all dramatic about it, but I never trust that supposed friend again. She just sat back and waited for fireworks for her own amusement, which is cruel mean girl behavior. I'm not impressed with anyone in the story. Am I the a-hole for wearing shapewear on a date? Hi, I'm a 29-year-old female, and I have lost about 75 pounds over the past 10 months. I still have about 20-ish pounds until I meet my goal, but I feel so much more confident and better in my body. Still, I have some excess skin around my stomach and the inside of my thighs. My trainer says with continued strength training, these should reduce significantly, but I'm considering my options for surgery. In the meantime, though, I don't want to keep waiting to feel perfect when I want to date now. So I wear shapewear underneath my clothes to smooth things out and hold the excess skin in. I've been seeing a guy, Jake, 28-year-old male, for the past couple months. He's funny, cute, and great conversation. I think we have great chemistry and strong mutual attraction. I'm not the kind of person who is intimate casually or without knowing a person well, and Jake has been understanding of this. We've kissed, and we've done some other things, but we haven't gone on the way. This past weekend, I feel like I was finally ready to try. And after our date, we went back to my place. He undressed, and he's been athletic his whole life. So his body is perfect. I took the plunge and started removing my clothes. He was surprised that I was wearing a shapewear and asked if it was a corset. I couldn't tell if he was joking, but I kept undressing, so I was exposed, loose skin and all. His face fell. He looked disgusted and disappointed. I think he realized how his reaction looked because he immediately started apologizing and explaining that he was just really surprised that I was wearing anything like that. But it really struck my self-confidence. I felt so disgusting and self-conscious. It was like I flung back to my heavier days, where guys would ghost me once they saw a photo of me. I was completely turned off and put my clothes back on so quickly. He was still apologizing, but I could tell he was also annoyed that I didn't want to do it anymore. I talked about this with my friends, and while some of them think he was rude, a couple of my friends think I should have just been honest from the jump so I could find a guy who would genuinely like me without any surprises. I don't feel like I was deceiving him or anything, but I do know he's used to dating more athletic, active women like himself. And even though I've lost weight, I'll never be that type of person. We're still texting and he apologized again, but now I'm afraid to face him. Am I the a-hole? Someone said, I have 13-inch scars on both my upper thighs from surgery. They are ugly, and my inner thighs are very far from perfect looking. After 17 years, I'm still embarrassed by how they look. But when I was dating and was with a guy I was going to be intimate with, I told him beforehand. I didn't want him to be surprised and ask questions in the moment. And let me tell you, not a single guy cared once. We are far more critical of ourselves and think others will react the same way. The fact that he is still texting is a good thing. Make plans to meet up soon. It'll be awkward at first, but you had to give him the chance to show you. He was just surprised, not turned off. Someone outside, there's nothing wrong with shapewear, but it might be good to mention the weight loss journey. It's not about false advertising, but imagine if he suddenly took off a wig and had a completely different hair color. It wouldn't mean you didn't like him, or even that you didn't find him attractive. It would just probably take a little bit to connect the dots of this being the same person. Heck, think of a guy who's bald, wearing a wig. It's perfectly normal. And he's likely still very attractive. This might surprise you. Just talk to him. He may have just been momentarily surprised. But you won't know if he does or doesn't like you until you talk.